Okay, this is 5.2, adding and subtracting like fractions. Like fractions means we have fractions with common denominators. So it's actually going to save us a little work already starting with common denominators. The only thing different we're doing with pre-algebra is we're adding fractions with signs. Now, it's not something you've done in the past. We're also adding fractions with variables. Again, not hard, just not something you've done in the past. We're going to look at this. A lot of it will be review. Some of it will be a little new to you, but hopefully at the end of this little tutorial, you will be a pro at doing these, okay? To add or subtract, and you know this, to add or subtract like fractions with the same denominator. Write the sum or difference of the numerators over that denominator. So the denominators do not change, only the numerators. So we either add the numerators or we subtract them, depending on what kind of problem we have. Okay, and that's basic, and you know how to do that. But let's look at a few of these problems, okay? So I've got 3/8, and let me see if I can get a better color than what I have here. Let's go with this, okay? So I've got 3/8 plus 2/8. Again, common denominator. I just add the top. 3 plus 2 is 5. It gives me 5/8. I need to reduce if possible, but this one I cannot possibly reduce. Now I've got a -1/6 and a +5/6. Again, just like whole numbers, different signs, find the difference. So I subtract the smaller from the bigger. So it's 5 minus 1, which is 4. It's going to be 4, 6, but I can reduce that. I can divide by 2, and I get 2/3. Okay, so here's my answer here. 2/15 minus 7/15. Again, different signs, find the difference. This is positive, this is negative. So it's 7 minus 2, which is 5. It's a -5, so it's going to be -5/15. I can reduce that by 5. I get -1/3. Okay, here the two negatives take care of themselves. They clash, they lose. I just add. 1 plus 7 is 8. I get 8/12. 8/12 reduced. I can divide by 4. I get 2/3. And there is my answer. There. Okay, I think pretty straightforward and simple so far. Just dealing with signs. That's all we're doing. Here, I've got same sign, so same sign, sum. 3 and 4 give me 7/20, and it's negative because they're both negative. -7/20. Okay, here, different signs, find the difference. Okay, -2, +1. My answer is going to be negative. Okay, 2 minus 1 is 1/7. Okay, again, you know how to do this. Just some new things with the signs, basically. These two signs cancel each other out or become positive. Now I've got a -3 and a +5. Different signs, find the difference. 5 minus 3 is 2/16. That reduces to 1/8. And I'm finished. Pretty straightforward and simple so far, I think, and I think you'll agree. Now, mixed numbers. This is kind of what gives people fits. Mixed numbers. Okay, the way I do this is vertically. I stack. Okay, 1 3/4. If you're adding, it doesn't matter what's on top, but if we're subtracting, we want to put the bigger one on top, even if the bigger one is negative. Okay, I'm going to add. 2 and 1 give me 3. 3/4 and 3/4 is 6/4. Okay, we're not finished yet because we do have an improper fraction here. 6/4 is equal to, 4 goes into 6 one time, remainder 2. Okay, so this 1 came out of this 1 has to go with this 3 and become a 4. 2/4 reduces to 1/2, and there is my answer after all of that work. That's why mixed numbers are so much fun. Next one, I've got a negative here and a positive here, so I'm going to subtract. I know my answer is going to be negative, but I'm not going to mess with the negative until I'm finished with the problem, okay? But I'm just subtracting the smaller from the larger, okay? And here we're good. 6 minus 3 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1/3. This is my answer, except for the fact I know it's negative, okay? And that answer is it. Don't have to reduce, do anything. Here again, I'm subtracting, stack them. Okay, vertically stack them. Sorry, 3/5. Okay, now in this case, I am going to have to borrow because we want this fraction bigger than this fraction. Okay, the 4 becomes a 3, and we put that 1 into the 1/5. So 5/5 plus 1/5 equals 6/5. That becomes a 6/5. An easy way to do that is to add the denominator to the numerator and get your new numerator. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, now I can subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. 6 minus 3 is 3. So it's 1 3/5. And it is positive because the bigger number here is a positive. Okay, so we get a positive answer. Keep going with these. Okay, same sign sum. Let's stack them. We got 6 3/7. we've got 3 and 2/7. Again, we're stacking, and we're adding, because it's same sign sum. I'll stick the negative on at the end. That's going to be 9 and 5/7. Everything's good. The negative goes on at the end for a correct answer. Again, same sign sum. 10 and 6/13. 6 and 8/13. Okay, add them together. 6 and 8 gives me 14 over 13. 10 and 6 gives me 16. Okay, I'm not finished yet because this is a problem. 13 goes into 14 one time with one remainder. Okay, the 1 and the 16 go together and make that 17 and 1/13. But we got to figure out the sign. It is negative, so we stick a negative on at the end. If I put the negative on before that, I'm going to get confused. If I had stuck the negative here, I'm going to look and say, well, that's positive 1 and that's negative 16. But you can't think of it that way. The whole number's negative, so this is actually a negative and a negative together. That's why I say leave the sign off, figure out the sign after you finish all of your work, okay, everything you have to do. Here we're going to add 5 and 5/9, 2 and 7/9. Let's add, that gives me 7 and 12/9. Okay, this is a problem. That is going to be 1 and 3/9 if we divide that out. The 1 and the 7 go together for 8 and 3/9, but that reduces, so that becomes 8 and 1/3. Okay, moving on to the next one. Now we're introducing variables, and again, I don't care what's up here as long as my denominators are equal. Okay, so my answer is going to have a 20 in the denominator. 3x plus 5x. Well, 3 plus 5 is 8. So it's 8x. Again, when I'm adding, I don't change the exponents. It's x1, it's x1. I add, I still get x1. Only when I multiply do I change exponents. Okay, but this I can reduce because the 8 and the 20 have something in common, and that is a 4. So it's 2x over 5. Okay, the x stays in the numerator. Here, this becomes plus. Okay, again, I have 3y in the denominator. I'm okay because they're both 3y. I don't care as long as they're both the same. So it's negative 8 and a positive 2. That's negative 6. But this reduces. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 2. So it's negative 2 over 1y, or just y. One more, same sign sum. The bottom is 9y. 7 and 8 gives me 15. It's negative because they're both negative. I can reduce this by 3. So I get a negative 5x over 3y. And that's finished. That's how simple it is to add fractions with variables in them. Okay? And I believe that is it for today.